Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show. Talk about the X's and O's. Talk and break down for the success of each team.
Slow your roll.
Whether he has something to do with it or not, we are adding that to the clock.
No team gonna freaking run the ball like that. That's challenging your manhood.
Not too much.
People still remember that.
So look, I don't need to hear anything from you, Mike.
It's been a crazy week for college football.
They value seniority.
When they're looking at the schedule, that's a tough schedule. Go beat everyone.
You already know.
Let's go.
You already know.
Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show, hosted by your boy 216 Mike and your guy Truther Vandross, Cam, and also produced by Walt K. Disney. We are in the postseason at college football, y'all, and ready for some games to be played. And I think there's some games coming up this weekend and so forth. So what's going on, folks? How you living?
What's
going on? Chilling.
Postseason is here, but before we get into it, I need y'all to do me a favor, subscribe, bud. We coming to you all week with some college football updates, especially as we get into the bowl season. But let's get, before we talk about a couple of games that's coming up, let's get into some transfer portal here. We got transfer news, actually breaking news. I don't know if y'all saw, but one of Texas backup QB, Malik Murphy, enters into the transfer portal, leaving Arch Manning as Longhorns' primary backup. And this comes in, right before they get into the college football playoffs. And then also we got Notre Dame pulling in Duke transfer quarterback Riley Leonard, third transfer QB in 4 years. So Notre Dame is doing business as well. It just seems like, as the week goes on and as the offseason progresses, we're going to get more news of people dropping and going, or going somewhere and then changing their mind and leaving again. Mike, who are you really paying attention to? I know, besides Ohio State, during this transfer portal season?
Honestly, the only thing I'm paying attention to is where the guys who left Ohio State, where they're going. I'm rooting for a guy like Chip Traynor. I know he committed to Kentucky. I think that they'll be able to use him and will utilize him the correct way, man. So I'm hoping that he does big things down there in Kentucky. You were speaking about Malik Murphy putting his hat in the transfer portal. I thought that it was kind of crazy that he does this after Kyle McCord makes the decision not to go to Nebraska, which I felt that news came out after we heard Dylan Raiola will probably be flipping to Nebraska. So again, is that something that, maybe Kyle McCord doesn't want to compete in? I did see somebody say, Mike, are you ever going to let an opportunity to rip Kyle go by? I think it's smart of him not to go to Nebraska. Anytime he would throw a bad pass, you know what the fans would be screaming for. I think Nebraska was a great place, right? If you're talking about wanting a quarterback to have a nice QBR, nice stats and things like that, that is an upgrade for Nebraska. So I don't understand why he wouldn't want to go there. Why not go there? You're competing a guy who's not even a freshman. You're about to be a senior in college. So you should have the upper hand if you are that guy. Nebraska makes so much sense, right? Especially if that's where you were favored to going. But, hey, it is what it is. But I ain't got – the Kyle McCord situation is over with, man. We know we're going with Devin Brown. Burn the boats.
Yeah. I'm really just following the quarterback musical chairs thing that's going on. I'm not really that pressed about this transfer portal window. I'm kind of more impressed with the portal windows like after spring, because a lot of those moves are out of dire necessity. Kind of what you saw from us last year, going to get Josh Simmons, going to go get Vic. I'm sorry, his name's losing me, Mike. What's his Vic Cutler? Vic Cutler, Jahad Carter, guys like that. So yeah, so I mean, I'm just pretty much following the highlights. I mean, the Kyle McCord situation is what it is. I mean, we know the situation with Dylan Raiola. We heard the rumblings about his dad wanting him to play, wanting him to start, if that allegedly. So, if that's the case, if I'm Kyle McCord, you got 1 year left in college. I'm not dealing with any type of situation where I feel like I'm going to be in a quarterback battle because he has 1 year eligibility left. So, I mean, I like to rag on Kyle and talk shit or whatever, but I'm not trying to compete with nobody my last year either. So I'm gonna take my Syracuse.
If you don't win the job, you got a red shirt to use.
I mean, he ain't trying to do that shit, bro.
Because I mean, if Devin Brown had won the job at Ohio State, he'd have used his red shirt and just not played.
He still only had 1 year left, right? No, he got 2. Yeah. I don't know. He could have used his red shirt, but he wanted to go in front of Quinn Ewers, so that's that. But yeah, Cam Ward, Dante Moore, those guys. I'm really interested to see where they land. If right now it's a big battle between FSU and Miami, and looking at that. But honestly, I'm just more concerned about the recruiting aspect more than the portal at this point, because we got signing day coming up in a couple weeks. So
right,
that's where I'm at.
Some big flips supposed to happen according to Hayes Fawcett, who does a lot of work for On3. So, hey, flip season. Apparently, Ohio State's going to have someone who's going to flip from there, maybe a couple. So, we'll have to be looking for that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, as y'all know, the Heisman was announced this past Saturday as Jaden Daniels takes her home the college most prestigious award, beating out Nick Penix and Harrison Jr. Daniels began, at Arizona State before transferring to LSU in 2022. He is the third LSU player to ever win the Heisman after Joe Burrow in 2019 and Billy Cannon in 1959. So during this award ceremony, he basically praised his teammates. He said having future NFL players on my team makes my job look easy. He said my receivers always say they're like Waffle House. They're always open. So shout out to Daniels for that award. He also took home the Walter Camp Award, Davey O'Brien Award, and the Golden Arm Award. So did y'all see this coming? Did you think Daniels was that guy?
I mean, he just had so much overwhelming stat advantage over the rest of the guys, to the point where it's just kind of undeniable. He did have the 3 losses, but I mean, what was really this Heisman race? I mean, we had a point in the middle of the season when they had JJ McCarthy with the best odds, according to Vegas quotations, to win the Heisman, and he finished number 10 in voting. 4 or 5 weeks later. So, I mean, obviously it was anybody's to have. I just feel like these last couple of years, even with Caleb Williams last year, I mean, CJ Stroud obviously should have won the Heisman last year over him, but he didn't beat Michigan. He didn't get to play that last game, and I just feel like Caleb Williams last year just kind of got a Heisman thrown at him just because he made a Pac-12 championship game and lost real pretty. So I don't know. The Heisman the last couple of years have kind of been meh for me. But, I mean, he deserved it. I mean, he had the best season. He was the most dominant individual player. I feel like you still should attach winning to the Heisman trophy because I feel like the most valuable player in the nation, or the most outstanding player, I think it says, in the nation, efforts should be rewarded with W's. So that's just where I'm at with it. But congrats to Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I say, wasn't surprised that he won it. It's who I thought was going to win it. I don't really have an issue. I don't have an issue with him winning it. I just wish that they would be consistent, because if it's okay for him to win it, like Cam said, he had 3 losses or whatever, but losses was used against guys like Dwayne. Like Cam saying the past couple years, I'm going to take it a step further. Losses was used against guys like Dwayne Haskins. Losses was used against guys like Justin Fields. One loss was used against CJ Stroud like multiple times. Just one game was used against those guys. And when they had the stats, they had the numbers, they had everything backing it up. And so it makes me wonder, like, who are the people really voting? I think that needs to be taken into account. And I think that there's an opportunity to fix these awards and things like that and really get a real college football playoff committee. And maybe they get a say in who's on those votings, because we're hearing like people are just buying their way onto this thing right now. Like, never played football, don't really watch football, and they got to vote. I think it's crazy.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think the whole system needs to be revamped. I think a lot of things change year by year. And like you said, there's no consistency.
And what? The last 3? Who won the Heisman before Caleb Williams?
Well, Caleb Williams won it 2022. The year before 2022, 2021 was Bryce Young.
Okay.
So Bryce Young, it was Devontae Smith.
Right. So Bryce Young in 2021 was the last like non-transfer to win. So we had a transfer quarterback win in 19, and then we had Devontae Smith, Bryce Young, and then the rest have been transfer quarterbacks. So I feel like the portal is kind of having an effect on some of these situations where these guys are just getting themselves in great situations and being able to capitalize on that, because it's very obvious that, Caleb Williams went to USC, went up against not as good competition as we've been accustomed to seeing in Big 12 and put up video game numbers. We've seen Bo Nix being able to go out to Oregon. We've seen Penix make it to New York with a COVID year. So I just think that we're in a really weird time limbo-wise with guys being able to hop from school to school and have that extra year. We're seeing guys develop that's kind of being playing above their counterparts that are younger than them.
Well, the media also has a say in that, guys. Every time you see, oh, so-and-so transferred here, right? And all offseason, that will be talked about, even to the coaching staff, how so-and-so doing and everything. They then run segments or whatever, even during the season. These transfer quarterbacks are ranking here, or these transfer players are ranking here mid-season. So it's always a campaign about the transfers, and especially quarterbacks at that. So that kind of helps guys if they're going for these awards, because your name is constantly being said. And like I said, if it's a person who's not really watching, right, but they keep hearing that name over and over, and then they see, oh, they're on the award, I'll go vote for them even though I didn't really watch a game. Like, I don't really know.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you're right. It'll definitely be interesting to see.
I'm just ready to get back to some normalcy where everybody get these COVID years out the way, because I feel like that's a very underrated topic in college football that's affecting a lot.
Well, maybe, hey, do you want to talk about it?
5th and 6th year seniors that COVID.
I mean, nothing really to talk about. I mean, you got the ability to add extra roster spots, and you have the ability to create super senior teams with high understanding that's been in these systems and these programs for 6 years. And you see teams like Michigan that don't have the 5 stars, that don't have the high recruiting, but has been able to mold these guys in a high-end program for 5-6 years. And now you got a 5th year, 6 year guy that was ass that is now been in the system for that long and is now being a feasible player. And you got a 4-man rotations. I mean, you saw that with who else? Mizzou, the team that Ohio State's about to play. Mizzou has a lot of older guys that should not, in a normal circumstances, wouldn't be on a team. That's a very big advantage to teams that take advantage of that. So, I mean, I'm not knocking it or hating on it, but it's just a very odd circumstance that I feel like has benefited certain programs around the nation substantially versus others. And we see a couple of those teams in a playoff right now, like Washington and like a Michigan. Like the crazy thing about it is, I'm not going to cut you off. I want to find out the average age difference between Alabama starters and Michigan's in that playoff game.
I mean, I'm going to say because you got to think about it, man. If you're fifth year or what, these guys are getting 6 year, right? So if you're a 6 year guy, you're probably 23, 24 years old.
Yeah, Michigan has 44 seniors, 18 of them start, and 6 of them are super seniors. That's starting.
Yeah. So you're talking about a 23, 24-year-old. And when you're talking about teams like the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States, those top caliber teams, those players are going up against 19, 20-year-olds. So there's already there could already be a 3 to 5 year age gap. And I mean, when you're talking about physicality, you start growing over
mental too, bro.
Yeah,
there's no learning curve. You've been in the system for 5-6 years.
Yeah,
you can do it. That's why you can play 20 guys when you got an old ass team like that, because everybody knows what they're doing. There's no drop off mentally. Yep. So
exactly, that stamina, that training, all of that.
Yep.
Yeah. Mind everything, even with classes and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about. They've been through it before.
They don't really have to take classes. That's the thing.
Worry about finals. Yeah.
Here's the thing, bro. I can go in some BS grad program, bro, and just take a couple online classes. Come on, man.
Look, just to say that they doing the hours.
Just to say it.
Yeah. All right. Well, unfortunately, Penix did not walk away with the Heisman, but did manage to win the Maxwell Award. They say he earned it. He's a 6-year senior. We're just talking about this thrown for a national best of 4,218 yards on 65.9 completion rate, to go with 33 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. What he did with Washington and the Huskies boosted them to an undefeated record in a win in the Pac-12 champ for the first time in 5 years, and a college football playoff appearance for the second time ever. When he won the award, he remained humble. He said it took a lot of hard work and dedication and just sticking to the grind of journey. There's a lot of ups and downs. He faced a lot of adversities, but to have perseverance to continue to push through and having the support, he also credited his family as well. So shout out to Penix for walking away with this award. This honestly is who I thought was going to walk with the Heisman. I kind of agree a little bit with Cam when we're talking about wins and considering that, when it comes to the Heisman, especially for Daniels, he had a phenomenal season. He did. Don't get me wrong, but Penix definitely had the win. So,
and he had a lot. He had a lot of games where he was stacking up crazy numbers against bad teams, where it was just a big chunk of his numbers was against G5 schools and stuff like that. So I don't know.
I'm happy, that he was able to win an award, Maxwell Award. Man, Michael Penix has been through a lot. If anybody doesn't remember his history, he dealt with a lot of injuries while he was at Indiana. But, he got to Washington, had 2 healthy seasons, man, and, led them on a nice run. So they're in the CFP. And this time you can actually say, hey, they're a contender. They're not going to get blown out. Because the first time it was in the CFP, you just kind of knew what was about to happen. Yeah. But, them being in the CFP and an actual contender, they could say that this is on Michael Penix's back.
Yeah, man. I remember Michael Penix back in the COVID year. He almost put us on a fucking hub in Columbus. So he got my respect, bro. Hold on. As you remember this, I picked Washington to win the Pac-12.
You did?
I did. I picked Washington to pick the Pac-12. And I'm low-key leaning towards them to win a natty. I just think that listen. No, all right.
Cam is capping right now, folks. Do not let Cam fool you.
Hey,
Kim, what do you see from Washington?
He has not picked against Saban yet this whole season, and he's been on the record saying he can't pick against Saban. So he might have these, but he ain't picking against Saban, folks. Let's just be real.
Look, I ain't gonna lie to you. I watched some Washington football, right? But then when I watched that Pac-12 championship game, and they got like 3 or 4 of their guys back that ain't been playing for some weeks, they look like a different team. That number 11, what's his name? Let me look him up.
You right. They did look like a different team.
For Washington, that wide receiver that they got in the slot. Hold on. I have to find his name. I am thinking of wide receiver load. Let's see what we got here. Anyways, when his name come up, I'll say it. But bro, him in that slot, like it completely changed the dynamic of the offense of like what they were trying to do with him with that speed inside of that slot, one of those one-on-ones on nickels and linebackers. And I mean, I got them for sure going to the Natty. I don't think that Texas secondary has the horses to keep up with this Washington pass game. We saw them play last year in a bowl game, and Washington was a more physical team. I mean, I don't know, man. I know I said I can't pick against Saban, bro, but I just how much better is Texas than Oregon from what we've seen this year? You know what I mean? Like how much better is the field than over Oregon? Like Bama, Texas, Michigan, and Texas.
I think
like how
Texas
much better
is better than Oregon, bro.
I don't really know if I can say that, bro, because I've seen the same teams that we rag on Oregon for blowing out and beating and saying they don't play nobody. We've seen Texas look like shit against the same caliber teams all year.
Yeah. But one thing that I can't
we seen them need a miracle against KSU. We seen them need a miracle against Houston. Like we've seen Texas look ass. So they haven't ran into
Texas play. Yeah, I do feel you on
and
that.
They lost to their
but I feel like
OU, so
I feel like in that. Yeah, and I feel like that game came down to OU won the turnover battle in that game. Came down to key plays, bro. Yes,
Taylor McMillan.
But
that's what I'm thinking of.
I will say this, bro. I just think that Texas, man, like I think Texas plays up to their competition. Like if they're playing a good team, they're going to play up. As long as they're not turning the ball over and making mistakes on themselves, I think that they definitely have a shot to beat Washington, bro, and definitely can.
I'm not saying they don't got a shot. I'm just saying I think Washington's the better team. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. I just think that Washington has a better quarterback. I feel like
we're gonna be breaking that game down when it comes up.
I feel like their OC is very underrated as a play caller. Every time he's in a situational time with play calling on 4th down, 3rd down, all year we've seen him come through and they execute. I just think that they're a veteran team. I don't know. I got a feeling, bro. I don't know. I feel like Washington, they might do it, bro. I don't know. Hey, they might do it, man.
They might do it, right?
They might do it. I don't know.
You definitely right.
They might, bro. I can't sleep on them, bro.
Yeah, you definitely can't. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next award. We had Marv taking away the Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver. He became the first Buckeyes receiver to win the award since Terry Glenn in 1995. Harrison Bell, LSU and Washington's wide receiver to win the award named after the legendary Florida State receiver. So shout out to him for sure on this. I know you guys saw this coming on that for sure. Both you, Cam and Mike. Is that true?
Yeah. You talking about Marv and being the first one since Terry Glenn?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was well overdue. I mean, I feel like this is kind of like a do-over from last year when they gave it to Jalen Hyatt. No offense, I know he's full of balls, but everybody knew that Marv should have won it last year, and I feel like this year they didn't want to make the same mistake, knowing that maybe Marv didn't have the same statistical success as Malik Neighbors, but it's very obvious that he is a way bigger engine to the team at Ohio State that was literally carrying our offense all season. Jaden Daniels is a great quarterback. He won the Heisman. I don't know. Maybe he still wins the Heisman without Malik Neighbors, or maybe they still do what they do without Malik Neighbors. Who knows? But I can tell you right now, Ohio State has 3 or 4 losses without 18 at wide receiver, while Kyle McCord is playing quarterback at Ohio State. 100%.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, you take Marv and you put him in the offense. I want to say what Marvin Neighbors still had 14 touchdowns, but Marv only had 19 less receptions. So you give him 19 more receptions, you're probably going to put 2 or more touchdowns in there, if not, like I said, more for sure. But hands down, I think Marv is the most outstanding wide receiver. Like Cam said, what did he mean to the team? He meant everything to the team. Whereas LSU and Neighbors, like you had, if it wasn't Neighbors, they also had another wide receiver that could have took away votes from him as well. Then you got a Jaden Daniels. You have a Heisman caliber quarterback. Marv did not have any of that, right? He didn't have another wide receiver to rival with him. He didn't. He had to be his whole team. You didn't. You go to the game, the Penn State game, had to be all Marv for them to win that big game. So when you talk about the most outstanding receivers, the ones who showed up on the big stage, you saw what he was having to do and his impact, like where the team up north had was triple covering him, bracket covering him, doing whatever they can to stop him. How is that not the most outstanding wide receiver? So yeah, I think Marv deserved the award.
I
agree.
Sure. All right.
Well, shout out to my guy C-Ball. What's up, C-Ball?
All right, let's get
What
into
up, Whamley?
Some bowl games here. So we got a bowl watch schedule for these. These are the 2 ones that I really saw that were really worth talking about. So we got the LA Bowl with UCLA versus Boise State, and then we got the Independence Bowl with Cal versus Texas Tech. I just went ahead and did the ESPN prediction here. Per ESPN, they got UCLA winning over Boise State. This will be an interesting matchup. We really haven't seen much from either one of these teams this season. And Boise State, didn't they just fire their head coach? So they do have, so this will be.
And their quarterback transferred out too. So.
I forgot about that too, Kim.
Yep.
So this will be, so I really don't see Boise State walking away with the dub on this one.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike, what you think on this?
Man, it's like I think both teams is going to go into this game where everybody's fighting for their spot next season, man. Quarterback has to prove himself for UCLA. The quarterback for Boise State is going to have to prove himself as well. So, I mean, these are going to be guys on the field who are fighting for next year's spots, man, or trying to, if they are playing, they're trying to put some film out there, maybe enter the transfer portal later. So I don't know, man. This is to me a toss-up game. Obviously, I would give the nod to UCLA just because obviously they're a P5 program and recruit like that and have the strength and conditioning of one. But, I mean, Boise ain't no slouch either. They're a pretty good program.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely got UCLA. I think that defense is going to be too much for them. So.
All right. And the last game, we have Cal taking on Texas Tech. As Texas Tech has Texas Tech beating out Cal with this. So They say Texas has had a pretty disappointing regular season. They only finished 6-6, and they were really a sleeper in the Big 12. We didn't hear much about them. But Cal did win, did end the season on a 3-game win streak, and that included wins over Washington State and Stanford teams. So they're both coming into this bowl game swinging. I have Texas Tech on this game just because of, I'd say, defense, and we'll see how it plays out between the two of them. The Bears, Cal's Bears gave at least 50 points in 4 of their 9 games against Pac-12 opponents. So I think Texas Tech holds out and takes a dub over this. Cam, what you think?
I like Cal. Every time I look out in the Pac-12, I just see Cal giving the top teams a game first couple of quarters. I just think that coach out there got them fighting, and then they're going to be up a little bit more than Texas Tech to win this bowl game. Give me the Cal Bears.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning Cal too. My biggest worry about Cal though is I have seen a couple guys for them go into the portal. Don't know how key that will be. But when I'm looking at Texas Tech, man, they're having a hard time even putting up 30 points, right? Whereas I can see Cal. I know that they are going to put up some points and be able to. Cal right here, they put up 33 on UCLA, 27 on Stanford, 42 on Washington State, whereas I'm watching Texas Tech just fall completely off. Only 7 points against Texas, only 23 against UCF. I'm sorry, but UCF is coming from the Group of 5 school. You should be able to handle that. Then they put up 16 on Kansas. So, I mean, you don't have to give me Cal. I just think Cal got something working, some momentum. And then I'll say maybe right now looking like the coaching staff is better right now at Cal.
All right. Bet. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Well, that was agree. A pretty good. That was a pretty quick show. As we wrap
ain't really much going on, Diz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it really. I mean, it's really not. That's what I said. I didn't really have any bowl games to really talk about. You know, these are the two that I could pull from. But it's about to get crazy this couple of weeks for sure.
Oh, yeah,
I want to ask Cam, what did you think about those player interviews and comments about the quarterback situation
at OSU?
Yes.
I just feel like the team is just feeding off the leadership that Devin Brown gives off, right? Like Devin Brown walks into the room and he looks the camera in the eye and says, there ain't shit I can't do. I can make every throw. I can do this. I can do that. And I just feel like the team is like, shit, he believe it. We believe it. And it's just like you're starting to see that energy ferment in our team that we were missing with 6. Because I don't give a shit how good your team is. Like if your quarterback is a thumb back there, and he ain't got no juice and he ain't got no fire to him, the team is going to reflect that because you're only as good as your quarterback really most of the time, unless you're Michigan, and then you can just, run the ball and run the clock out and all that. But that's not the type of system that we run. So we are a team that's dependent on our quarterback being an elite leader and an elite football player. And I think that we have that in Devin Brown. I feel like they feel like they have that in Devin Brown. So we're seeing a difference in the energy and the reception to media and to this game that we're seeing. Because, I mean, honestly, my honest opinion, Mike, I don't think that we see all these guys come back if 6 is at quarterback against Mizzou. I don't think Emeka stresses to come back. I don't think Denzel Burke comes back. I don't think any of these guys come back to show what they can do. I think that this is a combination of let's see what could have been. And if they go out there and they whoop ass and a top 10 SEC team, especially with the combination next year of basically a guaranteed playoff berth for OSU, you might see some guys in the locker room like, hey, man, let's fucking run it back.
That's what I was about to ask you next. Like, if if Devin Brown goes out here, kills it, and shows these guys like he should have been the quarterback all season, like, do they run it back? Because you got guys like Denzel Burke sitting there saying like that's the vocal leader we've been missing all year, right? Like that's what we've been needing. He's bringing that energy, and for some reason, Cam, I swear on this platform, we've talked about, hey, we can see the skill guys. The energy is different when
body language
comes out there. Yeah, we done talked about the body language when they done seen Kyle throw these balls. Like, I think it's kind of crazy. Like everybody was harping on us, telling us we ain't know because we ain't got credentials. But the players are saying everything that we've been fucking saying. Disney is crazy, ain't it?
We got eyeballs. It's like I don't need the credentials of being a Woody to see that Marvin Harrison Jr.'s body language is off because he's been open all game and he's not getting a ball. I don't need to see Julian Fleming's body language is off. Emeka Egbuka, even the line. Like it just seems like the whole team seems like they've been forced to go to a different place as far as competitive will to basically carry the load for our quarterback that has been not carrying his end of the deal. So we needed Trey to be amazing against Wisconsin and to be amazing against Notre Dame and to have all these performances to where it's like Kyle never at one point picked up our team and said, I'll carry y'all. I'll throw you open. I'll make this. I'm going to run for this third down, this fourth down. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this. So I think that just a combination of all of that throughout the year, we just saw a team that just wasn't connected, that wasn't really playing for each other as much as we were accustomed to seeing on the offensive end. The defense was if you watch Ohio State offense and defense, it looked like two different teams. Like the enthusiasm and the want to and the give a shit on the defensive side was through the roof all season. And then you watch the offense and it's just like, what's the difference there? So, but then you see Kyle McCord walk out there and his shoulders drooped and he got that stale face and he just looks like nothing phases him. But obviously it does because you're frantic in the pocket. You don't take hits. You don't run the ball. So I don't know. Like everyone always praised him like, he's so calm, cool, and collected. He doesn't play like it, though. So I don't care what his face and his demeanor looks like. Like he doesn't play calm, cool, and collected because he panics and doesn't rushes through his reads and fucks the offense up. Like, so I would like for him to play calm, cool, and collected, not just look like it.
Yeah, man. I think it will look good, and I hope Devin Brown goes out here and balls out, man. But do you think that there will be more questions about Ryan Day if Devin Brown goes and lights it up?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't there be? We've been questioning Ryan Day all year. So when you say will there be more questions, you're talking about the other guys, right?
Yeah. I will say that. Yeah. I'm talking about the beat, like new media, like after that game, like if he goes out there and win that game, right? He goes out there, wins that game. Will the beat start asking, hey, do you like the real questions? Do you regret not playing Devin? Do you regret like asking him the hard questions? Like, don't leave words out like regret.
Like my man Chris Drew said, are they gonna have the nuts to say Ryan Day made a mistake, or they're going to say, oh, it's Devin Brown growing through the season and make it seem like, oh, this is a new development that just happened. Like he wasn't always this good, So it's like, we'll see how they try to spin it. I don't see Ryan Day taking any accountability for him making a mistake because he doesn't have to, because it's not the NFL. We don't see the practices. They don't have to report. We don't know what's going on week to week to where you can hide and bullshit narratives and all of that. But I will say this again, and I've said it on this platform 100 times, Diz. We heard from the beat side and from the new media side via Menace that Devin Brown was winning the quarterback battle all fucking camp.
Yep. I remember y'all saying that.
And then Ryan Day came out and said that it was a quarterback battle, and he had 2 NFL quarterbacks. So Ryan Day saw Devin Brown play football and said, that's some shit I see on Sundays. But then we don't get to see him. He has answers. He has to answer questions, bro. He has to, like, that whole quarterback battle situation, I feel like was just glossed over so fast because of that Notre Dame game, and nobody wanted to carry over any negative energy because we were just so focused on beating Notre Dame, right? If we would have had a cupcake schedule, the conversation about Kyle and Devin Brown would have been dragged into week 4 against Bowling Green because Kyle would have still looked ass against an ass team. But he got that top 10 win, and that kind of just coasted him through the season. When we had 2020 hindsight, we should have beat the shit out of Notre Dame. Like, they're not that good of a team. Like,
I want to put this on record too, because let's say Devin Brown doesn't go out there and kill it, right? I want y'all to have that same energy that y'all have for Kyle. Oh, he needs a chance to work through it, because Devin Brown's the only quarterback on this roster that was in the QB battle who never got a chance to work through the shit. Never got a chance to work through it. So remember and keep that energy. I'm going to clip this up so we can post this, because I know y'all motherfuckers ain't going to keep that same energy.
But yeah, that's all I got to say about that, bro. Like, I don't know. But I wholeheartedly believe that Devin Brown is about to put the nation on notice about who the fuck he is. So I'm excited for that.
Hey, we ready to see it.
Burn the boats.
I know you ready. You don't like Mizzou.
I'm so ready to see this. Light them up, man.
Hey, Disney, like, burn the boat.
Burn the boat. I ain't never said it. Burn them. Shit, burn them up.
Get Drinkwitz out the paint.
Yes. Light them up. I'm ready for this fluke season to be over. Hey, and that goes back to what you were saying about 6-year COVID year seniors, you know?
Yeah.
That's how Mizzou got so high up, you know?
Yeah.
So,
old heads.
All right. Okay. But anything else, Mike?
Nope.
I'm chilling.
Get us on up out of here.
All right. So before we go, Cam, let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me at I Know Things 19 on Twitter. Yeah, you can find me on the Fan Edge every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Also, I am on the Flash Hit program, Buckeye BS, every Sunday at 10 a.m. Our schedule's kind of been spotty a little bit, but we'll get better about letting y'all know ahead of time if we're going to be doing that or not. So yeah, just be patient with us. Appreciate y'all.
All right, bet. Mike, what about you?
You can find me at 216_wildboy on Twitter or Instagram. Please don't be a creep like some fan bases and be just holding screenshots of me in your phone. That shit's weird. But yeah, not too much. But yeah, man, you can catch me on the timeline, man. Currently, right now, I'm roasting up Notre Dame fans. I got some Team Up North fans that are mad at me about a post I didn't even mention them in. So yeah, I'm always in the paint, always outside, man, and you can always catch me in the spaces too, man. So always good for a good banter, as they say.
Bet. And you can find me everywhere at Walt K Disney on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And before we go, if you haven't, make sure you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. So you can know and get today with everything that we got going on. And with that, we are out.